Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show, joined by Francis LoCrasto. So great to see you, man.
It's great to be here.
The story is this. Toots Thielsman books a gig in Italy, realizes that he vowed to never leave Belgium again. He was up there in age. He cancels the gig right before the festival. And the festival owner calls Billy Cobb and says, I'm in a real pinch. He's like, I need a fill-in trio immediately. And Billy calls Kenny Barron, and he calls Ron Carter. And they were able to fill in, and he said, paraphrasing, that his concept of repertoire is knowing being able to call between 150 to 200 tunes at any time, in any key within reason, in any tempo within reason.
This is Toots.
No, this is Billy getting Ron because they had no time to rehearse.
Right. Oh, and so Billy was like, this is what I need.
This is what, I'm sorry, yeah. But when I was asking, he goes, we filled in and we had a ball. We did great. We didn't even have to rehearse. So He said his concept of repertoire is knowing about 200 tunes, not having rehearsal time, being able to play them in any key, at basically any tempo, within reason. And I ask about Mac, Silver, guys you've been playing with for a long time.
Yeah.
What's your concept of repertoire?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely, when you're like a sideband musician, or I shouldn't use the word sideband.
Accompanist,
yeah. And you come up playing in a place like New York City and you're playing pickup gigs a lot, you have to know a lot of tunes because people are just going to be, there is no rehearsal. When you get called to just like go play it, whatever, the restaurant gig at the Blue Water Grill or something, you're there for 5 hours. It's 5 sets,
Wow.
You got to play, you're just up there calling tunes, and nobody has, nobody brings real books.
Chord
that.
charts or anything like that.
And,
Was there a certain gig, maybe like a certain genre of music that you had to learn on the bandstand?
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's more and more like that.
I feel like you learned the Dead music on the bandstand a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I love the way you play the Dead music because you ease into it and you're very patient with it. You don't it's not like jam music because you're not from that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. And I never checked out the Grateful Dead until I started playing with Cass McCombs. And he kind of introduced me to it. And then Dan started Grateful Shred. And that was when I went really deep into it and started learning it all. And but yeah, that.
What about like disco? Were you always into disco or R&B or like where they would like call like Otis Redding tunes? Was there like a certain genre that, and not the Blue Water Grill, but was there a club or a venue you had where it was like they were calling tunes? You're like, I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, funny enough, wedding band gigs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the hardest, man.
Yeah, wedding band gigs, no joke. Yeah, you learn so much material playing in a wedding band, and
you get a set list at a wedding band gig, or you basically got to take requests.
Yeah, there's usually a set list, and I've been fortunate to play in some good wedding bands.
What's the nastiest wedding band you ever played in? I mean, you're playing like Mahavishnu Orchestra stuff. I would hire you guys for that.
Oh man, yeah. There's a band I've been playing with the past couple of years called the Cool Rulers, and they call really good stuff. It's a lot more like kind of obscure soul, but yeah, I also played with Greg Osby for like I don't know 4 years or something. Didn't get to make a record with him, unfortunately, but recording or playing with him, that was definitely like a totally learning on the bandstand type of situation, because the first gig I did with him, we did 2 nights at the Green Mill in Chicago, and he sent me all this music, and the forms are really crazy, and everything's notated. All the piano chords are like these crazy spaced out like different clusters, and there's no way to name the chord. It's just like a sound. And also, he was like, you have to have all the stuff memorized for the gig. And it's like, these songs are all like, 12 pages long. And
I just want to be clear. Did you interpret that it was not a chord and it was just a sound, or did he say, by the way, these are not real chords?
I interpreted that.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't really say anything. That's not his style. He doesn't.
But you basically had to memorize or put it in your brain.
Yeah, Yeah, it was a different way of like learning and memorizing music.
See, that is something that is so missed. Music is hard work.
Yeah.
That is hard. So how did it work out?
It worked out great.
Wow.
It was
always acing the test, man.
I mean, it worked out great. I mean, I got, you know, that gig was kind of an audition, and I got the gig, which was cool. But improvising with those shapes was very challenging, because it's just like you're basically using your left brain to like interpret these shapes, and they're very odd sounding. They're really angular and abstract, and but it's not atonal. It's kind of like I don't know, like Stravinsky or something. But
is it danceable?
Some of it is, yeah.
That's great.
Definitely. Yeah, and he's so rooted in the tradition, which is, you can hear in his music, you know, he's just full, like coming out of Charlie Parker. And he has so much bebop in his improvising and it's crazy that he like has ways of applying that to these odd abstract shapes, you know.
And that's original music. That's not exactly a wedding band. I mean, his stuff was deep and continues to be deep.
Yeah, he's incredible.
I want to focus on Columbo for a minute. I mean, have you seen the movie Cobra?
No.
Marion Cobretti, Sly Stallone, 85, 86? Basically, a bunch of psychopaths are trying to take over the world. It's similar to what's happening today, but the motorcycle stuff was the movie, the film noir that you put together with that clip that came out last week was reminiscent of that. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about your alias, Columbo. Like, where does that need? Because I mean, Spencer Dunham told me that you know, he's like it's going to be under his alias. I was like, alias. So talk about that connection.
Sure. Yeah, Columbo was a band that Robin McMillan and I started back in
Legend.
2015.
Legend.
Yeah. And we were writing material, or we were writing anything. We were basically doing arrangements of a lot of like kind of older like exotica music, Roger and Martin Denny and stuff like that. And I basically do the arrangements, you know, for the band, and Robin would do all the percussion stuff. And we played a handful of shows around New York, but we just got busy with other projects, and so it kind of got put on the back burner. And then during COVID, I was writing a new record, and at a certain point, it was just like, this should be a Columbo record. So I hit up Robin, and I was just like, I have a record, and all the guys in the band, of course, who have come through, and I was like, I've made this record. I think it'd be a great Columbo record. Like, what do you guys think? Like, could we release this as Columbo? And they were like, yeah, man, you should totally do it. And so that's kind of where that came from. The name Columbo.
That's what I'm curious. I want people in 50 years, when they're watching this, to know where that name came from.
Sure, yeah.
Because the music itself speaks for itself. I had video of it. I had cats there broadcasting the gig with the big band, the ensemble with the flute.
Yeah.
It was and some of that stuff didn't even capture how funky it was. But the name Columbo.
Yeah, Columbo is an underground volcano in the Aegean Sea, which to me seemed very tiki. And it's spelled with a K, Columbo. Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically where that comes from.
And you will be, can you talk just about not the way you're able to stay in the moment right now, and if you can somehow put your finger on what is different coming out of, for you, in terms of gigs, what was happening before the pandemic in terms of gigs, and I guess the point is, what I've talked to younger cats about is just because everyone wants to come back and play, so the market is just saturated with so many bands, right? Because everyone wants to get back. That's a big challenge.
It is a big challenge.
So how do you keep cooking and stuff like that? But how do you keep like in the moment and grounded as best you can?
You know,
because you're drunk with sound, man. And if you can't get that out, you got to get it out of your system. You know.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, before the pandemic, I was on tour the whole year of 2019, minus like, you know, there was 2 months where I got married, and so I had to like be around to get that going. But Yeah, I was out a lot with Cass McCombs and Grateful Shred and the Fruit Bats, and literally right up until the pandemic, I was out opening with my group. We were opening for Circles Around the Sun, and I got home the Sunday, March 7th. It was the Sunday before everything got shut down. And
it was LoCrasto solo opening for
yeah,
Circles, right?
Yeah, LoCrasto solo.
But I mean, the point is, you were busy before, but now it's like flooded. But how does that affect Frank LoCrasto? You're here on like a mini South sort of SoCal run. You've been on the road with the Fruit Bats. Like, how is it impacting you? Are you getting back to normalcy?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. It's been great. Like, there's stuff coming through. Stuff earlier this year, it was a little bumpy getting started. Because there's been shutdowns interrupting stuff.
Yeah.
There's been people are trying to tour, and there's shows are getting canceled because somebody in the band or in the crew gets COVID. Right. And it's a big risk right now.
I mean, that's a valid point. I mean, there's no disputing that. I don't know how you get around that, but I mean, as far as like, are you going to go to Europe with these cats? I think I saw that. Yeah. So I mean, a gig's a gig, But
Definitely.
I mean, talk a little bit about Colombo live at Huachica. What kind of band is that going to be? Is that Mac and who's going to be there?
Mac can't do that one.
Mac can't do that?
No.
The man is a vaudeville character.
I
man.
know.
He's straight out of a different era, man.
Yeah. The Josh Meese is going to be playing with us on that, and
guitar player in
the Fruit Bats.
Fruit Bats, yeah.
And Bill Campbell, who also plays at Colombo. He's a drummer, and Jordan Brooks is a LA bass player. He used to live in New York.
I feel like I know that cat. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to play. We'll be a quartet at Huachica, but the Colombo tour, it's kind of weird because it's like the first like 4 or 5 shows. It's going to be a 5-piece with Josh, Bill, Robin, and Jordan, and then Robin has to go on tour, and Josh has to he's got to be a dad, and so then it's going to be a trio for 3 shows, and then Josh is going to join us back in Sonoma for Huachica.
I'm sorry, you're going to be traveling the country? You going across the country?
No.
What's the tour looking like?
It starts in LA, and we're opening shows for Sugar Candy Mountain. We're
Beautiful.
doing we're doing Lodge Room in LA, and then we go down to San Diego, and then
stop over to Tucson. I mean, we always get neglected. I'm glad you guys are here, man.
Yeah, God, I wish. Yeah,
that's all right. It'll come.
It will, definitely.
This is my final question for you. What is one song that you guys can take to the stars for Jake Feinberg tonight? Are there a couple of tunes within the set that like lend themselves to improvisational?
Definitely. There's 2 songs. One is called Absolute Loser. That has some jamming on it, and then we do a Pumpkins cover of Hummer, and there's like a really cool, like almost like krautrock kind of jam. At the end of that, and we stretch out for a while. That's really fun. It gets real spacey, and you'll love that. That's totally up your
I mean,
own.
I'm looking for you to just take some chances. LoCrasto, I woke up today. I was like, something feels different about today, but nothing's happened. I'm like, Fruit Bats are in town, man.
Yeah.
So honored for you to stretch, man.
Man, yeah, likewise.
What an honor, man.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you're down here and coming out tonight.
Talk to you soon, man.
Okay.
It's the Jake Feinberg Show. See you later.